Hello, it's Dr. Kari here, the host of the Paws Effect Podcast, and welcome to this special episode on pet behavior. Over the past couple of years, I've had the privilege of speaking with some of the most insightful minds in pet behavior and training. Daniel Stewart, Ross McNamara, Matt the dog trainer, Angie Winters, and the Dogfather, Graham Hall, just to mention a few. Together, we've discussed topics like bite prevention, managing anxiety, and why so many of us find pet behavior so difficult. In this episode, I'm sharing some highlights from those conversations, offering practical advice and thoughtful perspectives on training and understanding our pets. If you'd like to hear their full episodes, you can find them on your preferred podcast platform. Alternatively, feel free to reach out. We'd love to help guide you on your training journey. It's not just about teaching our pets to follow our rules. It's about creating an environment where they can thrive. This advice really brought that home for me.
Number one rule, no aggression. And people incorrectly believe that they're protecting their dog if they allow their dog to, for instance, be aggressive towards a child. You need to address the dog first to relieve his mind or her mind immediately. And the moment she's feeling that, we don't do that. You're just teaching the dog. A kid falling beside them is not an aggressive action. Whoops, play it down. What's that kid doing here? We don't aggression, no aggression. But here's what you can do into their mind because they're reading you emotionally. So then they're like, oh, okay, I guess that wasn't. If you come in harsh with the child right then while the dog's watching you, don't, be careful with doggies. Like if you come in panicked and at the child, the dog sees you doing that to the child and he's like, I was right about that being a terrible thing that just happened to me because see, mom was scared and she gave him a correction for it. So the next time the dog will do the correction for you because he believes he's doing the right thing because that's what you did.
Bite prevention isn't just about training the pet. It's about educating ourselves. Daniel Stewart shares some of his incredible insights that can help prevent incidents before they happen.
Is your dog bad?
Dogs don't want to injure us.
I thought you said your dog did not bite.
They're social creatures.
That is not my dog.
They live within our home, so they've got everything that they want. But a lot of the time, it's out of a reaction. So it's a unknown, uncontrolled reaction. That's a lot of the time. Or it's a fear-based scenario. Or going down the line, it could also be pain. But that fear base works on aggressive behavior or total fear behavior, and we're too close. We're just getting into their face way too much.
Here's a fascinating perspective on how our own behavior can influence our pets' reactions and how small adjustments can yield big results.
It's very much about people. And yes, it is sometimes a case of getting a bit of coaching from somebody like me and then do your best to practice. Like most things, I guess, like sports. I've just been working with a guy this week. His telling off tone was okay because he wasn't shouty, but it was very deadpan. No. Which was fine. 2 seconds later, the guy says, with the same tone of voice, yeah, good boy. It's like, oh no, that ain't gonna work, right? Because it all sounded the same. If you can hear that difference in the music of the language, then your dog can. And then the next thing was, as most humans, when we're concentrating, we've got one face. That face needs to do a frown occasionally, and occasionally you need to smile like a village idiot. Oh yeah, good boy.
Behavioral challenges can be frustrating. But this advice shows how approaching them with patience and empathy can make the world of difference.
A lot of dogs don't even know how to learn, right? So people are trying to train them, but the dog doesn't know how to learn. It's almost like taking a child that hasn't gone through kindergarten or preschool and trying to teach them applied mathematics. It's not going to happen, right? It's too difficult. That's why there's those foundational steps where you actually teach the dog to learn. If you're wanting to teach your dog to walk calmly on leash, right? That's really the last 3 or 4 steps of the process, but that's actually not where you want to start.
Training isn't a one-size-fits-all. Graham Hall emphasized the importance of tailoring techniques to suit each pet's unique personality and needs.
Do a bit of blackout thinking, be a pessimist, right? Which is not in my nature whatsoever. But what you'll find, if you go on any websites that are written by, Border Collie fans and you read about the temperament, you'll only hear about good things. Very rarely on those sites they say, you really don't want a Border Collie because they're a bit too energetic and they're bonkers and you need to walk them for 4 hours a day. They are super intelligent, but that's also a problem because they learn bad things quickly as well as good things. You don't see any of that stuff, right? So you need to read into that. And once you've sort of got your head around that, then it's fine.
One thing's for sure, training isn't just about commands. It's about building a relationship. This clip reminds us that understanding our pet's natural instincts can make training a more rewarding experience for everyone involved.
My biggest concern when I'm first working with people is I just want to make sure you guys have a really good relationship. Usually a lot of the time, especially with the problem dogs, I show up, I see the person, and their dog just does not care about the owner. Usually I like to have the owners working through a bit of obedience with the dog, just to give the dog something to do. It gives the dog a sense of purpose. It gives the dog a sense of achievement. It's a good confidence builder, and it gets the dog almost on that person's team. Obviously, these skills have their practical uses, and through your obedience, you get to work what we call engagement, which is just how much the dog looks towards you. And the dog just learns, like, anytime I'm with you, great stuff happens. You're the best possible person in the world, and I don't really care about anything else. That's usually the most important part.
If you've enjoyed these highlights, I'd love for you to subscribe to the Paws Effect podcast. Your support is so important to be able to continue these great conversations. Share the series with someone who might benefit from it. And let's keep working together to create a community that values the well-being of our pets and each other. Thank you for listening and for being part of this journey with me.